Good
Good
morning,
morning, sir.
everybody. Now,
Very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, sir.
Participants?
yeah. Only their names are visible, not their faces. But they are listening.
Listening, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Really good.
Shiva, sir. Baswaraju, sir. Shiv Kumar, sir. Surekha, sir.
They don't want to show their face.
ಮುರುಗೇಶ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್.
Yeah. Show your face. Jay Kumar. Yes.
ಸವಿತಾ ಮೇಡಮ್.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Vidisha.
Good morning.
ವಿದಿಶಾ ಮೇಡಮ್.
General everybody no problem. Okay, thank you. Friends, in the first session, as Dr. Nanjan Swami mentioned, that I would be speaking on major issues in higher education and challenges facing the domain of higher education. Friends, we are all teaching in the field of higher education. In the field of higher education. Many of you are teaching social sciences, biological sciences, physical sciences, and even other streams of learning in colleges and universities. And you have been experiencing several problems, issues, and challenges in the field of higher education since our independence. During the last 75 years, India has been emerging as one of the pivotal nations in the committee of the nations. After independence, the Congress government led by Jawaharlal Nehru had appointed a commission under the chairmanship of a well-known teacher, a well-known professor of philosophy, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. It was called as Radhakrishnan Commission in 1947 itself. It submitted the report in 1948 and made several recommendations for the quality higher education. Then, secondly, in 1966, another commission was appointed under the chairmanship of S.D. Kothari. It is popularly called as the Kothari Commission. It submitted the report after 2 years, and it also made several recommendations. In 1968, the first NEP was formulated by the Congress government led by Srimati Indira Gandhi. And that also incorporated several measures for quality higher education. I am outlining what steps have been taken. Then in 1986, another NEP was formulated during the period of Rajiv Gandhi. And the program of action was initiated in 1992. After a gap of more than 2 decades, in 2020, another NEP was formulated by the NDA government led by Mr. Narendra Modi. It was headed by, Kasturi Rangan, former chairman of the ISRO. Several discussions took place for many years, and ultimately it was adopted in 2020 July. Now, after implementing several recommendations of these commissions, where we stand today? What are the issues that are facing the domain of higher education? Number one, there is a change or shift from national to global education. Globalization has become a new phenomenon. It is not merely in the economic sense. Today, globalization encompasses all aspects of life. One second. Sorry, it is encompassing all aspects of life. No, close my door. It is not only, exhibiting the market economy or the market forces, educationally, culturally, socially, even sports wise, we have been witnessing what we call globalization. It has not come to an end, as many people have pointed out. Rather, it is increasing day by day because of the technology revolution. You can talk to anybody anywhere in the world within no time. You can conduct online programs as we are conducting today. This is a new development. Under this development, there has been a shift from national to global education. Universities cannot confine themselves only to their regions. According to NEP of 2020, the UGC has already made several programs to invite well-known foreign universities or reputed universities to establish their campuses in India. Not foreign universities, but they can have their campuses on the university, in the universities of India. This is a new development, and therefore under this circumstance, we have to understand how quality is important, how to use the ICT, information, communication technology in the teaching learning process. This is one major issue that is confronting. Number two, today there is a great change from general education to education system driven by market forces, employment oriented education, skill oriented education, not merely STEM subjects, all subjects, even the social sciences must have the knowledge of computer application. They must have knowledge of information technology. They must use them. No question of traditional method. One can retain the traditional method wherever it is necessary or essential. But one cannot avoid modern technology, teaching and learning process. And therefore, keeping this in mind, skill education is very important. Whatever the degree we have, but one should have the employability ability, the skill-oriented knowledge, the skill-oriented education. Otherwise, it will become outdated in the society. This is the second issue that is confronting. And while making the syllabus, the universities and the colleges and also the teachers, because you have to give them feedback. You cannot escape from your responsibility. You may not be the members of the Board of Studies, but nevertheless, you can provide necessary input to the authorities, concerned authorities, to frame the syllabus once in 3 years, to revise them once in 3 years, or as and when it is absolutely essential, keeping in mind the forces of marketability in the country. This is the second shift. The third one is, today we are emphasizing the inclusive education. Education for a few to education for all. Earlier, it was pointed out that higher education was confined only to upper middle classes or to the people who came from urban areas. People from the far-flung areas or from the backward areas or from the backward communities could not get an accessibility or affordability to pursue the higher education. Today, it is not like that. Higher education is to become inclusive. This inclusivity was emphasized by not only Radhakrishnan Commission, not only by Kothari Commission, but also all the NEPs, National Education Policies, including the present one, 2020. It has given elaborate descriptions about the inclusivity of higher education. People of all backgrounds, minorities, women, backward, class people, tribal people, they should have an accessibility. Therefore, institution of higher education must be established in the rural areas. And in fact, in many districts, there must be a university. Now, keeping this in mind, the Karnataka government, BJP government earlier, had established many new universities. Mysore University has been bifurcated into three. One Mysore University, second one Chamarajanagar University, third one Hassan University. Even in Mandya, which is very near to Mysore, only 45 kilometers away from Mysore, it has got unitary university. Now it is going to become a full-fledged university. And therefore in Karnataka, I remember earlier there are only 5 or 6 universities, but today there are more than 40 universities, both private and public, and also deemed universities. That shows how the universities are being expanded in order to provide inclusive education for all. This is a very important issue. And when you create more and more universities, what are the problems you are facing? Financial problem, manpower problem, infrastructural problem, appointment of qualified teachers, availability of qualified teachers, imparting quality education in the rural areas. Now, these are the challenges. How to overcome them? How to mobilize the resources? The universities cannot depend upon the government alone. Today, many state governments are indulging in politics of the freebies, in politics of populism, to get votes and to get majority, because we have got the parliamentary system of government. Now, under this age of freebie politics, where is the resource for the state governments? Where is the resource for the central government? Today, central government say India is the 5th largest economy in the world. And according to its estimate, India would become a 3rd economy in another 30 to 25 years. Now, that is a big projection. But how to realize that? And many people today, they have no employment. Problem of unemployment is there. Number of old people are increasing. India's population is increasing. Earlier, we were called the 2nd most populous country in the world. But today, according to the latest report, we have excelled China and we are occupying the 1st place with a population of 142 crores. How to solve the problems? How to feed these people? This is a big problem. And therefore, inclusivity, education for all in the domain of, in the field of higher education is being visualized. Then another shift is from teacher-centered education to learner-centered education. Today, teachers are not the central figures. It is the students. They are the main stakeholders. We have to give them education according to their suitability, according to the employability, according to the skill development. The role of teachers is minimum today. The role of learners is maximum. How to increase their maximum? How to promote curricular activities, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, socially responsible activities. Education should be a comprehensive one. It should be a broad-based one. It cannot confine only to the classroom. The students have to develop wider exposure, state exposure, national exposure, even international exposure. Today we are speaking borderless education. A student can take 1 semester in the University of Mysore. He can shift the 2nd semester to Jawaharlal Nehru University. He can go to Russia for 3rd semester. He can go to 4th semester in the United States of America, because credits are being transferred. Today we have to emphasize and pursue credit-based system of education. Now, under these circumstances, friends, learner-centered education has become very important, and particularly the new NEP of 2020 is emphasizing rote learning is not important, but activity-based learning is important. There must be a change from rote learning to activity-based system of learning. This is the emphasis that is being laid down. And again, another shift is from one-time education to lifelong education. Mere getting MA degree or PhD will not stop. Education is a lifelong process. According to me, and according to my experience, a teacher is always a student. A teacher is always a learner. He may have a designation, assistant professor, associate professor, or professor. or sometimes even he may become the vice chancellor. But it doesn't mean that he has learned everything. Learning is something like ocean. It is beyond comprehension. 100 years of life is not enough to understand the ramification of education. Therefore, a teacher is always a learner, and he must go to the classroom with updation of the knowledge, with the upgradation of the knowledge, with a digital mind. He must be very sharp. He must be a very good communicator. He must have an audience sense. Now, then only it is possible to face these challenges and the shifts in the domain of education. And from that point of view, education is a lifelong process. The NEP has emphasized the training importance for the teachers. Academic staff colleges were created during 1960s. Names have been changed. Again, names will be changed. But the method of training will be the same with the different nomenclatures. Then lastly, friends, from traditional teaching method to technology-driven teaching method or the learning method. So keeping these minds, friends, we have to understand how the universities and the colleges have to cope up with this kind of a new shift in the domain of higher education. This is the major issue, first issue. The second issue is expansion of higher education. I told you earlier, in order to provide inclusivity or inclusive education for all, we have to create more and more colleges. We have to establish more and more universities. Friends, in 1947, there were only 20 universities across the country with 500 colleges with a gross enrollment ratio of 0.1%. 0.1%. Since then, the number of colleges, the number of universities are increasing. Not only the public universities or the government-run universities, but also the private universities. Because India is following the policy of PPP, public-private partnership, in major areas of life. Government alone cannot do everything. Private people must also contribute for the development of the society. That is how Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis, Premji, Lakshmi Mittal, and various others. They have all contributed and still Narayana Murthy today, who is the founder, chairman of the Infosys, who has established his companies all over the world and who is contributing very much for the economic development and for employment of the qualified people. Their role is very, very important. Today, as per the figure given in the last September 2022, there are 1,055 universities in the country. Expansion has taken place. Among them, there are 54 central universities. When UPA government was there, led by Dr. Manmohan Singh, it took a decision to establish one central university in every state. That too in the backward region of the state. Now that is how in Karnataka, we have a central university in the backward region of Kalyana, Karnataka, near Hyderabad, in Alanda district. In Kerala, near Kasaragod, there is a central university, northern part of Kerala. Even in Tamil Nadu also, in the backward region, central university is being established. The purpose is to give the better education to those who were denied for various reasons. And the state university number is 456, and it may be more now. And the deemed universities 126. Private universities 419 private universities. There are almost equal number. And private universities have got very good facilities. And they are competing. They are hiring highly qualified people, competitive people. Now, if some of you, in America, Harvard University, Stanford University, Cambridge University, and even Yale University, they hire people even after their retirement. If they are well qualified, if they are highly renowned teachers, if they are very good in research activities, they hire them. Age is not important for them. It is the output important. It is their contribution that is important. But in India, we have got retirement age because of too much of manpower. And here again, there is a difference. between the retirement of state university teachers and retirement of central university teachers. And therefore, friends, the education system is increasing, and this has to be, understood by the governments and also by